you never heard of. Hey everybody, welcome to the Common Folk Podcast with Ben, Morgan, and Andy.
All right, here we are.
Let's do it.
So, who we got out here today? Andy brought in a special guest.
Yeah, hopefully become a frequent guest. Doug Throener of Cooper's Chase Vodka, founded, and I believe you kind of expanded that now. You got bourbon line going with that as well.
Yeah, we have two products. We got vodka and bourbon. I always get asked, what's next? What's next? What's
Right.
next? Especially from my distributor. What's next? And
Seltzers.
Yeah, right?
I just would rather be very good at a couple things than be okay at a bunch of things. So
Right.
that's
Good for
my
you.
philosophy behind it.
Well, you mentioned before the show when I introduced you to the guys here, Ben and Morgan, we've been friends for about 5 years now, and that I got to thinking how we met, and it was when I went to launch our outdoor show, Chasing the Dream. I was looking for Nebraska businesses in Nebraska that kind of went in line with what we're trying to convey and who we're trying to support and involve in our show. And Doug was a slam dunk. It was a small business. I'll have a drink every now and then, so that fit. But then also Doug's an outdoorsman as well. So like all the pieces just kind of came together, and we did a couple of spots, a couple of commercials, and I think every now and then, because it's in a rotation, your spots will still get played every now and then.
Well, awesome. I love
So,
free
yeah, there you go.
advertisements, right?
Perfect. So you just reached out to him and said,
Yeah.
Hey.
Like we got this concept, this idea. We don't even have a name for this hunting and fishing show, but we're predominantly going to be going across Nebraska to hunt deer and fish for largemouth bass. And Doug was all over it. Like, yeah, that sounds like the type of promotion we'd want to get behind.
Yeah. It's, Nebraska is a unique state because we have a lot of loyal people in Nebraska. And, some of the pros is we have about 1.4 million people. Mm-hmm. And there's some days I think I know half of them. and then when I need something, there's some days I don't know any of them.
Right.
So, yeah, it's a great state to be a part of because the people are really, really nice.
Oh, yeah. So, Ben, how do we want to gear this discussion today? I think we're going to talk about entrepreneurship, starting a small business.
Yeah, for sure. And to hear a little bit of Doug from you, kind of what how'd you get started? What's this all about? And just a little bit about yourself as well, so we can introduce to the audience.
Well, I was in the bar and restaurant business for 20 years. I was at one time the youngest bar owner in the state of Nebraska. I just turned 21 and got involved in several different bars and restaurants. And as they became successful, I sold them and kept moving the mark for myself. As the mark got moved and as I got involved with, my family, the bar and restaurant business is a different beast for most people. That's why most people fail at bars and restaurants, is that when everybody else is playing, you're working.
Right.
Yep.
And you have to be there. You can't just hire everybody else to do your work for you. You have to be there. And in a small town in Nebraska, the people, the patrons want to see the owner. And I was always there. We opened every morning at 6:30 and we closed at 1 a.m. And then, after, big Friday nights or Saturday nights,
right.
I cleaned. So, and I was doing this single, which is, hey, I can do that.
Yeah.
But then as you have a family, you're restricted, and then, it wasn't my thing then. So after 20 years, I just thought to myself, I'd like to dabble making wine or beer or spirits. And wine and beer, I have to have refrigeration. And with distilled spirits, you don't need refrigeration. Mm. So, I can put a barrel of whiskey out in my shed, and it can be 20 below outside. It's not going to freeze, guarantee you.
Right.
It's not going to freeze. Now, when it gets below 40 degrees out Fahrenheit, it doesn't. It's not aging anymore.
Yeah,
It's sitting steady. But so that's the reason why I got into distilling. And people said, well, how did you learn how to do it? Well, I've been dabbling with it, and either you're a distiller or you're a moonshiner. So, I mean, you connect the dots there.
So what's the difference?
I was just gonna say that. What is it? Come
Distiller
on.
has a license, a moonshiner don't.
Oh,
That's the difference.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yep.
So, I mean.
oh crap! We might have known that.
So, yeah, that's my redneck side of me. But no, I guess I wanted to do it the right way. I wanted to get, the right licenses, go the right routes, set up, a good trail for something that I could carry on with my family if my family wanted to carry it on, And so we did it all right. And that was, tomorrow is going to be the start of 13 years. And, when you start a business, it's like your own baby. And when you start several businesses, I got several babies, but, you put blood, sweat, and tears in it. And you learn every inch about that business. But you also have to be very open-minded because you run across people that you network with that might give you an idea or might give you an inspiration to maybe turn that focus one way or the other. And
Right.
and if you put the blinders up and you don't do that, you might miss out on something that's, not only profitable but very satisfying. So I've kept a very open mind on this.
Well, yeah. I mean, just from my experience, right after I got a hold of you, I got in touch with you, you had just changed your label. And so, like, everything I was digging up online had your old label, and you're like, no, don't use that. Get that out of the spot. We got this new one. Let me dig it up for you. And I think it looks sharp. I really like it with the skull, across
Right.
there. It kind of tells the story. And I don't even think we mentioned he's out of West Point. West Point, Nebraska is where your distillery's at, right?
Yeah. Our county is Cumming County, and we have a lot of livestock, a lot of cattle. I mean, we're the number one cattle feeding county in Nebraska, and I've been a part of that business also with my day job, and I thought, why not bring that and put that on our label? And we're right on the banks of the Elkhorn River,
Yep.
and we incorporated that into our label, and basically your label is your window to yourself. So this is my window to myself, and some people want to hook it to the Nebraska. Why didn't you put an N on it or something like that? And it's like, no, this is me. This is
Yeah.
This is me. This is how I portray it. This is, and the name Cooper's Chase. I'm Cooper and I'm chasing a dream. That's how I came up with the name. And the reason why I did that was marketing, plain and simple. I mean, I can market that name. I can't market my personal name because it's too plain. That's, to me, is a cool name. So
Cooper's Chase.
Cooper's Chase.
It is a good name.
Well, and one of the first things you mentioned to me, I mean, we use corn off of our family farm, and my father-in-law, we turn most of that to ethanol. So, of course, when I go up to the pump, if I have the option, I'm buying as much ethanol as I can because that's supporting the family business, the Nebraska corn grower. You use grain out of the local elevator there in your distillery. So, like, once again, if I have my choice between vodkas or bourbons, if the taste is right.
Right.
Got to get that right. Got to throw that out there. But I'd rather have, enjoy a vodka drink or a bourbon drink, using Nebraska grain or a grain from the Midwest. I mean, that's just kind of who I am and supporting your own, I guess.
We tell our story thousands and thousands of times. And the one thing that I'll get a lot to is your product's so much cheaper than your competitors. Is it a cheaper product? And the answer is no. My product is affordable, so you guys try it. And I'm not gouging my my clients, my customers. So I'm just trying to do it to make a living. And so when my competitors are at a different level, that just goes to show you, they're in it for all kinds of other reasons. I'm the business that supports the local youth basketball teams or the swim team or the churches, or if someone gets sick, I jump up and I want to support that. You're not going to get a big name brand to do that.
Yeah.
And to me, that's just part of being in a community. Some people are on the fire department and rescue. This is how I can give back, and I get asked for a lot of things all the time. And at first I would do everything, and now I pick and choose,
Right.
Who I want to help. And I very rarely say no, especially if it's a local thing and a family needs some help. I don't want no PR on that. That's what you do.
Right.
That's part of being a part of the village.
Well, Ben and Morgan, I think this makes a lot of sense for you because you guys have been to a lot of soccer games over the years. And I got to think a lot of those parents have a little flask in their side to help them get through the afternoon. So,
I mean, maybe.
Happens here and there.
Yeah. Once in a while, sports games.
so yeah, maybe there's an avenue there for you, Doug. I don't know.
Yeah, with the liquor laws, I got to be very careful. I can't advertise like at our local high schools because
That's true.
it's not I can't be in their yearbook. But I get asked that. So lots
Sure.
of times we have to go a different route and do it personally instead of by our business,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, whatever business you're in, I just be a part of your community, be a part of your surroundings, and get involved. And that's my main advice for a business starting out. And you have to set your budget. You have to set your parameters right away because you can't give everything away when you first get started because startup costs or hiccups in your business, they happen. I mean, I've gone through them. They happen. So you got to have that reserve for them cases. But I sure like helping people out.
Yeah, and what I really like about that is what you're talking about. So the business that you guys are in, you can't necessarily be advertising, like you said, in the schools and these types of things, but you guys as individuals, you and your wife and your family still give. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is that a lot of that comes from these small businesses, all the stuff that these folks are doing out here and pumping it back into the community. And it's such a big thing.
Right. And we have, in our area, we're so fortunate. We got a lot of projects that are done in our area, and we have a very giving group of businesses in our area. They get hit up all the time, and some things are more important to other businesses. I'm all about anything that's related to a family. That's what I'm about. So whether it's a walking trail or a new swimming pool or whatever, someone's in need, someone has some health issues, or there's an elderly person that just needs a new porch on their house. Let's all chip in and take care of it, type of thing.
Even down here where we're at, like here in the small town, it's similar probably to what you're talking about. But you go to the local football games and all the sports teams and these kinds of things. And what do you see on the shirts of all these kids is all the local businesses. Yeah. You don't see the big national chains and those kinds of things. Like literally that is the heartbeat. Like that's what's pumping these towns and these communities. And there's just no way around it. I mean, there's no way that we could operate without it.
There really isn't. And that's why, you try and practice what you preach. And so if you do have an option to buy local, it sounds good and everyone supports it. And where's the T-shirt, right? Yeah. But man, when I have to depart, this is $2 cheaper than that, whether it's a burger, fruit, whatever, people have a tough time doing that. Even you see like local dairy farms try and do their own brand. And it's like, oh, wow, $7 a gallon. No way. Like, really? Well, think about what you're saying there and think about what your implications are.
It makes a big difference. I think what you're saying is where your head's at. Like what's important to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I've noticed over the last 30 years of being in retail business is consumers are very smart, and the demographics, whether it's male or female, or the age groups, all play a difference. The consumers now, and I'm talking probably the 21s to 40-year-olds, they are very inquisitive. They ask a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's cool. I think that's
Yeah.
awesome. Because the generation right above that, which is my generation, they don't do that. I mean, they really don't.
Yeah.
So I was at a store in Omaha just last week, and the store is known to have very inquisitive people.
Okay.
People that want to know how your product's growing, where it comes from, who touches it, you know. And I explained all that to them, and they wanted to know. They were intensely listening to every word I said, and I thought, man, that's awesome, you know. But it's just that generation.
Yeah.
You know, so the generation behind it, as I get older, what are they going to be like, you know? The way people purchase nowadays, too, is really, really different from when I started. I mean, you have a lot of online stuff. In the alcohol business, that's a tough gig because you just can't throw a bottle of booze into a box and send it by the post office because that's not good.
Right.
People don't, you know, with the pandemic, and everybody's tired of hearing that, but it changed the way people purchase. So small businesses, whether it's restaurants, bars, they really had to change their style of marketing, advertising, how they talk to their customers, their menus. And I've been trying to be as supportive as possible to them businesses to help them succeed because some of them service hospitality industry businesses have really taken a hard hit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for them. And the ones that are family owned and they're really into the business and on an everyday basis, they are the ones that are succeeding. Some of the businesses that maybe are 5-6 store chain type of things, they're hurting. So that just goes to show you bigger is not always better. What you have and you can control under your own, you know, eyes, they're the ones that are succeeding right now.
Now, that's an interesting point there, Doug, because, you know, we were talking a little bit beforehand, and you said, look, we're still a really, really small business, and you've taken measures here and there to kind of keep it that way, because I got to imagine you had some opportunities to grow fast or grow big or get cut up or, you know, get partnered up with maybe a bigger brand or bigger label, but you decided to keep it kind of in-house, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I always tell people I gain customers one at a time. It's slow, methodical. Sometimes it's not fast enough for me either. But I have found out that as I gain customers, they're loyal. And to me, in business, loyalty is everything. And in today's world, we're lacking a lot of that. So I always tell people, you can't call the owner Jim Beam, but you can call me.
There you go.
And I'll answer your question. If I don't have the answer, I'll find out the answer.
Yeah.
So I take pride in that. I take pride in that because I'm accessible. I don't have a recording, you know, on my phone saying, you know, talk to this person or talk to this department. I don't have that. You know, it's me.
Which is huge because, like you said, the education part. But where do you think that comes from? I guess I'm thinking, you know, you said that age category of that this 21 to 40-ish, you know what I mean, is really inquisitive. I mean,
well, the tech and the items that generation uses on a daily basis, you know, a cell phone. I used to have a big old flip phone a few years ago.
Oh, yeah.
and now I can order a cheeseburger off my phone. So it's come a long ways. And these younger purchasers, they know how to buy an airline ticket on their phone, you know, and
Right.
I have a tough time, you know, doing that. So,
Yeah.
So I mean, they're very savvy. I mean, they're very smart people, but it interests them. And, you know, then you throw the social media aspect into it. And all of our print marketing kind of went by the wayside, and everything's digital
yeah,
now.
yeah.
So
It's the needing to know that just, don't you think?
yeah, it's the desire. It's in not knowing pushes them more to want to know.
Yep.
So they keep poking the pig, to find out what they're eating, what they're drinking, where it came from. People might laugh at that, but that's what's going on. And if you and if people don't realize that, they better get in tune with that quick.
Right.
Well, and Morgan, I think there's a huge opportunity there, and you've probably already seen it, Doug, where, this generation, or, between 20 and 40-year-olds, when they go to a restaurant, they want to know what spirits am I drinking. They don't want to just do the well. And if there's something like Cooper's Chase on the menu, okay, tell me about it. And if there's a story behind it and it makes sense and they like it, of course, that's the type of drink they're going to order then.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of restaurants are going that way.
Yeah, and what you touched on earlier, Doug, with the folks like wanting to know, a lot of businesses don't realize. So, to begin with, it's way more work, obviously, to engage with those customers, those clients, whatever, because they want to know all this stuff. Like you said, you're out there, you're telling them the story, you're at the liquor store, you're having to put in the work, but after that happens, those people are way more engaged.
Oh yeah.
Because at that point, now it's like, I know this brand. I know where it came from. I know what they're doing. And now you've got customers and buyers for life, which is, I don't know, like honestly, it's way more fun. It's more fulfilling.
Yes, it is. It's you're planting seeds and then hoping to reap a crop at the end, and you're building a foundation. You got to have a strong foundation. And if you turn somebody on, that person, chances are they're going to tell 6, 7, 8 people,
Right.
and have a good experience. I always tell people, take my product, go home and do an actual taste test. Take your favorite brand and put it against mine. I'm okay. It's okay to be in second place.
Sure.
Because sometime down the road, that first place product might not cut it anymore. Mm-hmm. And I'm in second place. So that it's kind of a hard pill to swallow at first, especially if I go over to like a family member's and I see a bottle of Tito's on the kitchen counter.
Oh, I bet.
Oh yeah, that makes my blood boil. But
Still got to smile though. You got to take it.
Yes, you do. And lots of times they'll see me lock eyes with that bottle, and I lock eyes with them, and they know without me saying anything that they made a mistake or whatever. So, but it does happen. I mean, I get it. It does happen, and I go with the flow on that. But most generally, the people that do blind taste tests with my product actually love our products, and they can't believe that that's our product. So all generations, all buyers are hooked on marketing too. Mm-hmm. So if the package is pretty and the price is expensive, well, it has to be good. It's expensive.
Ooh, yeah.
And I get a lot of that. And well, you're kind of in the middle of the road pricing. It's subpar. No, it's not. It's top shelf, priced affordably. Yeah. And I do that all the time, and sometimes it's like preaching to no one.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yelling down an empty hallway.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, and that's an interesting category because exactly like you said, it's like the higher priced, it must be better quality, and that happens with a lot of different things, but in particular with liquor.
Yeah. Yeah,
Starbucks,
they got an excellent brand.
Good point,
I mean, good marketing plan, but $10 for a cup of coffee?
Yeah, no.
No, not cool.
I'll brew my own.
Yeah, not good. I do tell people, if you're going to buy our products, my products, they're not shooting products. Don't buy it to shoot it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Mix it.
Mine are sipping products.
Okay.
Mine are to enjoy it. If you just want to get one place and go fast, buy that $6 bottle.
Yeah, right, yeah.
I'm not your person. So some people just want to grab a shot and shoot it, and it's like, yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
no, don't do that.
Get a little taste.
Yeah.
So you kind of talked about how, obviously how you got into it and how it interested you and those types of things. As far as making it and being a Nebraska company, how does that work from the beginning in terms of the raw materials and that process? Where does that come from, and how do you stay involved with that?
Well, you're looking at the distiller, the bottler, the labeler, the capper. I do everything.
Yep.
A lot of your companies are not that way. A lot of your companies are large batch. We're small batch. We do things small.
Yep.
All my products they come from the Midwest. All the grains come from the Midwest. Some of it comes from Nebraska. Some of it comes from Iowa. Whatever.
Yeah.
My grains come in clean, so I don't have to clean them. I try to make the process, I guess, as easy as I can possibly make it. We make it right on our farm. So one nice thing is I can walk outside my house and right to work. And
That is nice.
It's like 20 yards, so that's so awesome. Especially like on I always say it like a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Someone will call me out. What are you doing, Doug? I'm making liquor, and it's like that's so cool to say that.
Yeah.
But a lot of my equipment when I first got started, I had to make myself. Because the equipment that is used for distilling is very, very expensive.
Yeah.
Thousands of dollars. So I had to modify and jerry rig a lot of things to make it work for me. It works. It's great. Every label that you see on our bottles, every cap that you see on the bottles, every topper you see on the bottle is all done by hand.
Really?
Everything is done by hand.
Wow.
All these bottles are filled up one at a time.
Okay.
We have several different sizes of each product, and the smaller the size, the harder it is, the more labor intense it is.
Yep.
So I always call them the airplane shooters, the 50
Yep.
ml that you can buy at the convenience stores on the corner there in the fish bowls. When I get an order from from my distributor, it's like getting punched in the gut.
There's just so much effort.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Every one of them little caps I screw on by hand, and all the labels are put on by hand.
Yeah.
So is it a loss leader? Absolutely, it's a loss leader. But it gives a chance for the consumer to buy something for $1 and try it before they maybe buy it for $17.
Yep.
And that's my philosophy
Yeah.
behind that. Now, during the pandemic, last year in April, I lost 40% of my business in 6 weeks. And that was bars and restaurants.
Oh, okay.
When they shut down, it was a blow. Mm-hmm. And then the next 2 months, I seen something strange. It picked up in the stores.
Yeah.
My main size that I sell, a 750 milliliter bottle, everybody kind of graduated and went to the 1.75 big boys. Yeah. So
Yeah.
Not doing much else but
they're
drinking
not-
at home.
They're hanging out in the garage and they're coming prepared. So, and I thought maybe that would rotate back as things relax, and it hasn't. They're buying the big boys. And I think, and this is just my perspective, but I think people, they still go to the grocery store, but instead of going once a week, they go maybe twice a month.
Sure.
So and they do this with a lot of different items, not just spirits, but I'm sure, everything from macaroni and cheese to hot dogs, you
Yeah.
know, you just double up on everything, and I think this thing also taught people to, be a little bit of a prepper,
There you go, yeah.
Right.
and have stuff ready, especially the TP.
Yeah.
You know, I still can't believe that. You know?
If you can get it. No.
Yeah, if you can get it. Grab your liquor and your TP all in one shot. But
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that's been very and what you said there that interested me when you said your business went down, because I've heard everything about like people are drinking way more and hanging out at the house, but then it came back. So obviously the restaurants, that totally makes sense,
right.
and they're still a mess. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how that carries on, because obviously. So do you think that it's in general, with what happened with the pandemic and so on and so forth, has that been a positive for your business, or?
No, it's never a positive. No.
Yeah.
No. I mean, if I could have a predictable year at least once, I haven't had a predictable year in 5 years.
Yeah.
You know, and that's part of being an entrepreneur. You know, you just kind of got to roll with the punches, and you know, you start the football game with a game plan, but you might have to change it up as it goes. This was a big change up for everybody, and you know, I get down once in a while, and I just tell myself there's people that have it a lot worse than me.
Yeah,
you know, they have a family member that maybe got really sick or something like that, and my heart goes out to them people. So, but you learn to adapt. You network with people that's in your industry, because they want to talk too. I mean, I think even before the pandemic, our just being social one-on-one with people really gone downhill, and then the pandemic happened. And it really took being social downhill. And if I could live my life without doing anything, I always have to have the social aspect, the hands-on people, looking them in the eye, having a beer with them, or a soda with them, or you know, Chase vodka with them. I mean,
there you go.
That to me is important. I really need that. That's my drug of choice, I guess.
Yeah, you touched on it in the beginning where you said, like, you know, you're a people person, you got to be around them, and that's the business that you're in. Yep. I mean, that's what all this fosters, right? Is just hanging out.
Yeah.
And part of my marketing, you know, prior to COVID was you go to stores and do sampling. And I mean, I used to do probably 30 to 50 samplings just in the fall.
Uh-huh.
Oh, wow.
And you know, you do a sample, people would try it, they would buy a bottle, you know, because they liked it. That rug was yanked right then and there.
Yep.
I have a wide variety of customers, and when I say customers, I'm talking stores, restaurants, bars, mom and pop stuff. The mom and pop stores is my core of my business, whether they're liquor stores, grocery stores, restaurants, taverns, bars, whatever. Mom and pops made my business. So I'm always a phone call away. If I can help them out, they got some special event and an anniversary coming up for their store, I want to help prop them up. I'll do whatever I can. And now I do have some chain stores that I have my product in, and they're great. I mean, I have to take it all, but boy, I really watch out for my mom and pops, because they have really taken it hard, you know.
Oh yeah.
And
that made me cringe. And you just worked it into a sentence there, but you said I lost 40% of my business from the restaurants and bars closing down. Well, think of the restaurants and bars. You know, most of those guys lost 90% or more. They had to figure out how to cater or whatever. They had to adapt. And even if they didn't want to do catering and curbside pickup type stuff, well, tough. It's either close up completely or figure it out. And I mean, it really just put a lot of that stuff on top of its head. And like you said, the social aspect, you'd go down to the bar after work, after a tough day, to have a drink, have a toddy, have a smoke. And that just got taken away from people, just like that.
Right. And people want to socialize. People want to be around people, you know. And I think that I think we're back on track, you know. I mean, we kind of got a hiccup going here now, but I think we'll work out of it. You know, we're in such unknown territory for everybody that who has the right answer? There really isn't a right answer. But when you quit trying, that's when you need to get out of the business that you're in.
Yeah.
You know, you got to always try. And trust me, I have failed at several different avenues of trying to promote my business. And you get kicked in the teeth, you get back up, and you try something else.
Yep.
You know, and you take note, make note of that, and don't do it again.
Yeah, for sure. What do you think? One of the things I was thinking about when you were talking about that, based on what you've done your whole life and being an entrepreneur and getting involved in all these businesses, obviously you're willing to take risks, and a lot of folks aren't. Where do you think that comes from? Like for you, at least, being that risk taker and interested in those kinds of things and getting after it that way.
I believe a lot of it's genetics. I'm wired a little bit differently. My wife will be the first one to tell you that. But sleep is overrated.
Sleep when you die. Sleep when you're dead.
Yeah. You push yourself to the limits. As you get older, you kind of get wiser, and you don't listen to that advice when you're in your 20s. Trust me on that one.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you pick and choose your battles. I do believe that people that are good at business, sometimes they don't need to have a wide variety of whether it's products or items that they sell. Just be good at what you have. Be the best. I was in the restaurant business. We didn't have a big menu, but we were great at what we did. We were in a town of 600 people. We served 750 meals average a week out of that.
Jeez.
And the place sat 40 people. So, I mean, our menu wasn't very big. It was just up on the wall on a Pepsi menu board.
Yeah, the old, yep.
But we cranked the food out, and we gave people good value for their money, and that's what people want. You might have a local person that just in our hometown started up a taco business out of a food truck.
Sweet.
And they put neon lights around it. It's clean. The people are friendly, and they're getting busy. And they don't have 50 items on their menu. They got 10.
Right.
But everybody knows when you pull up there, that's what you get. And I think we need, as a society, to maybe condense down just a little bit.
Yeah.
And not be so spread out.
Consistency. Don't
Consistent.
you think? Yeah.
Yep. When you buy a Coke, Coke's going to taste like a Coke. Going to taste like a Coke.
It's been said the hardest beer to brew is a Budweiser because everybody knows exactly what it tastes like, and it's a lighter lager. So like any little fluctuation, you're going to know that's not a Budweiser.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, just follow your heart, follow your gut. You're going to have a lot of people give you advice, but at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to have to report to the banker. And sometimes the banker is your wife, and sometimes the banker is a banker.
Or both.
Yeah.
Or both.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, it's such a different mentality. It's a different breed. And I think like you said, genetics. You touched on that with what we do with our businesses and that. Both of my parents were entrepreneurs, and we're doing those kinds of things. I guess that's just what we were raised in,
Right.
And then it makes you long for that.
Well, I think there's an element of how you were raised, and you were allowed to fail as a kid, and your parents wouldn't come down on you or be too hard on you if you did fail. If anything, I know my father was always I could tell he was kind of proud. He's like, well, at least you gave it a shot. I mean, now go tape up your arm because you fell and this and that. But I think there's a lot to that, and just they're risk takers. They're just kind of a different breed of people.
Yeah, and you hook that with ag, and the ag community is probably, I would say, number one in risk taking.
Oh yeah,
but you have to do that in today's world, and there's a lot of good producers out there that are very large. There's a lot of good producers that are small. They have to customize their program to what fits them, and sometimes companies get too big too fast, and they're not deep. They don't have that foundation set. That was always my fear, is I just don't want to get too big too fast. Now I'm going, I need to get faster.
Oh, yeah.
So as a business owner and what you see happening with your business, Do you worry about at some point getting big to the point where like, man, I don't have the grip that I had? Because what you're talking about, where you're directly involved, like you're the guy. People can call you. If they got a question, if they want to know about what's going on with these drinks or whatever, you're the guy. So do you ever worry about the fact that someday this thing's going to get so big that they're not going to be able to call me anymore and things are going to change?
No, because I'm going to be accessible. That's always a goal. I'm one of you guys. I don't ever want to be that other person, that conglomerate. In the liquor industry, a lot of your spirit companies were sold off. Company owned.
Sure.
Actually, Jim Beam's owned by the Japanese, I believe.
I think that's right, yeah.
So, InBev bought Budweiser.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They're from, I believe, Brazil.
Germany or
I thought it was Britain, but whatever.
be,
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they're foreign owned,
Yeah.
which that's fine. That's their prerogative,
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to do that. Now, when that carrot, or if that carrot's ever dangled in front of me, maybe so, maybe not. But I enjoy having control.
Yeah.
And I enjoy people. So as long as I'm with people, I'm fine.
Yeah, that's something that a lot of people don't realize when you said earlier, it's kind of like your kids, like you're raising your kids, that's your business and it's your baby and you're bringing it up and you're taking care of it and you're directly involved. And someday, if you're fortunate enough, someone big comes in and wants the thing and you move on. But I suspect just from talking with you here that it's not something that you would accept and then just go sit on the couch. Like it'd be what's the next thing?
Right. There would always be another thing.
Yeah.
But whether I turn it over to a family member or I sell it or just dissolve it. I would like to keep it going. I live for the moment. Sometimes you can plan a lot for the future, but if you don't live the moment, life passes you by.
No doubt.
Gotta stay young.
Just going to say that. It just pass you by.
Yep.
It's so true.
Well, cool. Let's get a little plug in here then, Doug. Where can people find Cooper's Chase? I would assume across the Midwest.
Yeah, you can get it across the Midwest. What I tell people is go to your favorite store, your favorite establishment, restaurant, bar, tavern, pub, and ask for it. Ask for it by name. They might have it, they might not. All them places can bring it in, though. If there's a demand for it, they can bring it in. And it don't cost them any extra to bring it in. I tell people that are in the hospitality business, if you get our bottles and just set it on the back shelf and hope people order it, you're not going to have success with it.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to promote it. Whether you're promoting a drink, like a Nebraska Mule or a Nebraska Bloody Mary or something, the people that promote it have so much success because
Of the story.
Yeah, they have the success of the story that's already there, but they also have the success that the consumers nowadays want a local product. So when they put it up on their menu board or in their menus or their table tents or whatever, people will order it. And when they order it at them stores or at their establishments, they'll go to the store and then they'll look for it on the shelf. And then they can get it also,
Right.
at their store. So the mom and pops are my core. So don't ever be afraid to ask. And I give all the stores the POS material that they need to promote it. I tell like C stores, especially with the holidays coming, I got a few of them making gift baskets with a Nebraska-made basket. Everything from cheeses to sausage to my spirits to maybe some honey, and make a holiday basket and set that by the register on the counter. So when people are going to their family or holiday parties or someone's traveling through the town, they'll say, well, that's cool. That's so unique. I'll buy that basket and bring that to that event or that party, that anniversary, that birthday. they just love it. I mean, I get lots of people that do that. My wife, she makes bouquets. So she'll go, I mean, she's a Hobby Lobby person, and she'll get a vase, and she'll get sticks, and then take the glue gun and take our little airport shooters and glue them to the glue gun, and make a bouquet out of our our spirits, and then she'll stick candy bars and stuff in there. So like when a dad's having a birthday or a mom's having a birthday or whatever, or a bad day, instead of getting a bouquet of flowers, you get a bouquet of spirits. So we've had a lot of success with that too. We're on social media, Facebook. We even started TikTok, Instagram, Twitter.
I do follow you on Facebook, and when I see a restaurant or a tavern in Norfolk, Nebraska, or whatever, promote you or pick you up, like, look who's serving Cooper's Chase now. I always do a little fist bump, like, there's Doug. That's Doug getting it done.
Yeah, and when, a steakhouse brings our product in, I want to go eat there.
Yeah.
And I mean, look at me. I like food. I enjoy food. So, I like going there, but I like promoting their business and helping that business out, one hand rubs another.
Yeah.
So that's what we do. We like to go out on tour. I mean, Elsie at Manawi.
Yeah. Manawai.
Okay. Population 1. Yeah. But there was a big article now that they said in the census there's 2.
Ooh.
Elsie's upset.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But she has Cooper's Chase. So when we were up north fishing at a pond, we had to stop and see Elsie, and she had her products on the back bar there.
How cool is that?
Yeah. That is so cool.
Andy took me there one time.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's a world-renowned place.
Yeah.
You got to do it.
I guess I'm next.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never been.
Yeah.
No, but I keep looking at the bottle. I really do love your logo and your shirt. It's really cool.
Read the back label, and I wrote that, and that's on both them bottles. It's the same story, but it's what I am.
That's sweet.
Yeah, I love the idea, and these small businesses and people making it happen. And I've got my computer up here, and I'm on your website, and there's a button here that just says email Doug. I mean, how do you get any closer to a company or a brand than this type of thing? And you guys are doing cool stuff. I mean, it's
good for you. This is awesome.
And I like doing things like this because sometimes our day is so busy trying to compete with Goliath. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this brings me back to my roots, and this makes me feel this is why I want to be in a small business.
Yep.
Is people like yourselves. And sometimes you get caught in the fight so much that you need to take a step back every once in a while.
For sure.
And doing this is my step back.
Yeah, man. Enjoy what you're doing, right?
Yes.
Right.
Yep. I think there's also, I guess, one of the last things that I'd want to say is, and I was kind of touching on it earlier, entrepreneurs, and we all are here, you have these big dreams and all these cool things, and you hear about all this crazy stuff that, people do and what your business can do and so on and so forth. But, and we're go-getters. I mean, obviously, we're going to get after it. But you got to remember to keep it close to home and do stuff the way that you're talking about doing it. You can get too big for your britches. There's no doubt about that. And if you want a good quality brand, organization, something people can be proud of, sometimes you just got to keep it a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the destination. It really is about the journey.
Totally.
Yep.
It is about the journey every day. And I always tell people too, in any kind of business, don't be afraid to network.
Yeah.
Sometimes a plumber might give me a great idea. Mm-hmm. You can cross different business industries and get their perspective on something. Be very open-minded, and good things will come from that. And if anything else, you make a good friend.
Yeah.
And that's what I love, talking to people, finding out what they do, what makes them tick.
Yeah.
And I've gotten so much good advice from normal people.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes
outside of the industry.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes the suit and ties, lead you down wrong paths. You know, they're steering you instead of guiding you. And sometimes you got to make that decision, you know, not to do something that maybe looks really good to do.
Yeah, I hear you.
No, now don't be saying girls get all sappy here. I mean, Andy, you're talking like, ooh, it's about the destination. It is.
It is. Yeah.
Okay, I liked it.
I have a soft
Okay.
side, believe it or
Thank
not.
you.
I do, yes.
Soft
All right.
That's
Andy over
good.
here.
God, and we're talking about
Wow.
seltzers to start the thing out.
I know. God,
I'll tell you something else though. I'm about to open one of these.
just
So we've got the bourbon here in front of me, and I would like to give it
take a little
taste.
sip.
Little pull before
I mean,
we
it's
sign
all-
off here.
What is it? It's only 11.
Close enough. Yeah.
It's no big
there
deal.
we go.
It's no big deal.
It's 12 o'clock somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. 5, you know.
Yeah.
You know, at our outfitter, Doug, we always try to keep a bottle or two in stock. And what's end up happening is people come by and then they leave with them. So it's like, all right,
Really?
that's cool.
I bet
Yeah,
they do.
They just take
They
it.
take them back to Virginia. They take
Woo!
them back to.
It's
That's
kind of
awesome.
like soap at the motel.
Exactly. I'm
They're
like,
stealing
all
it.
right, all right.
stealing the
That's
soap
on
out.
us, guys. All right.
I tell you what, man, I do like that. It's
Oh, yeah.
that's a good drink. I'm a bourbon guy for sure, and I'm not well versed on them, but you know, have
Yeah.
a number of them that we drink at home, and that's good. I like that.
You know,
There's a nice taste.
there's a saying in wine, and it's just with any spirits. You know, drink what you like.
Yeah.
You're going to get different experts that will tell you different things.
Yeah,
Just
steer ya.
try what you like. Like I said a little bit ago, my products aren't made to shoot.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't get in the business to make shooters and get drunk quick.
Yeah.
You know, I made a good, sociable, enjoyable spirit.
Again,
Yeah.
it's like you said earlier. It's the drink is about the journey.
Yep.
Just hanging out with it.
Yep. And I have met so many awesome people in the state of Nebraska. Characters. I call them characters.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
There's
and,
some
and I can
characters.
just think of different characters. I could write a book on some of these people. And everyone has something positive that I try to pull and always put back in my memory file, you know. And that's what making spirits is all about.
Yep.
Relationships.
Can I ask real quick before we sign off, what do you do with the mess up barrels? Do you have any, that has too
I-
much high percent or like, where?
When I
Where-
get barrels in, I'll get barrels in from Missouri. I'll get barrels in from North Carolina. I'll get barrels in from Minnesota. Most of the barrels are coming out of Independent Stave Company out of Missouri. They're all with oak trees. But you pull a barrel from different parts of the United States, the grains in the wood are tighter. So like
So it's going to taste different.
yeah, it's going to taste different. So Minnesota oak's going to taste different than Missouri oak or North Carolina oak. And when you put alcohol in a barrel, the best way to describe it, it's like a piston in an engine. And that alcohol is getting pushed into the wood, and then as it gets cooler out, it'll pull back, and you get that push and pull every year. And it's a piston action. And the longer you leave it in the barrel, the romantic name is Angel's Share.
Okay.
That's the romantic name. It's evaporation is what's happening.
Oh,
And you lose
okay.
about 6% in the barrel. So if something's aged, let's say 12 years, that product's going to be probably pretty expensive. It's not because the product maybe tastes better. It's because when they opened it up, there was about a half of a barrel from what they started
Less
with.
of it. Yeah, sure.
You know,
Okay.
so as that product's sitting in the barrel too, you're not getting paid for that. I mean, it's like a squirrel packing away nuts for the winter. You know, you don't get it. You can look at it and you can touch it, but you can't drink it. You know, but in the end, it's all good. I mean, you pull it out and you can marry a couple barrels together to try to get the consistency.
So you don't have a ton of waste.
Oh no. No,
Okay.
no,
Okay.
no.
You're like,
No.
no, I'm not doing that.
No, so when I purchased the barrels, after I dumped the barrels, and them barrels are already spoken for. I have a few people that
Oh.
want them for, let's say, their bars at home. Most of them go to wineries, and they put their red wines because they want a hint of that bourbon in their Chard, or not their Chardonnay, but their Merlot or whatever. So the winemakers love barrels.
Okay.
When I get barrels in, I hydrate them. I fill them up with water to find out if there's any leaks, because there's nothing more gut wrenching when you fill it up.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So you have wasted some alcohol.
You scramble really quick. I mean, you start drinking, you start grabbing jugs. I mean, it's like, holy cow. The cow sprung a leak, you know.
Right.
So you hydrate them barrels with water just to make sure. And as the wood swells, it'll seal it up too. And you're always going to have seepage from barrels. So if you go into any barrel house, or they call it a rick house, you go in any of them places, it has that hint of whiskey in the air. Well, you got evaporation, plus you got leakage from the barrels. And it caramelizes, and it makes it like a sap from a tree. Mm-hmm. And you take your finger and just scoop off a bunch. Oh, yeah, that's good, man.
Oh, boy.
That's good. But any barrels that are just, you can't get them to seal, then I just sell them. They become planters for mom's flowers.
Yeah. I just wondered how much waste you had barrel-wise and then liquor-wise.
Yeah,
so that's
not too
interesting.
much waste.
Okay.
No, not too much waste. You learn really quick.
Limit that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you learn
That's
really quick.
money pouring out.
It's money, honey. Yep.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Awesome.
Nice.
Good info
cool.
here.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You got
It's
to
been
take
a
a
good
swig.
one.
Okay. I'll be honest. You said you got to find your drink. I'm not a big bourbon.
Sip it.
Ben is.
Yeah, she's
Right. So what I tell people when they're drinking bourbon,
It's not that I can't.
you know,
Just saying.
you can smell it first, but I always say put a little bourbon in a rocks glass or a shot glass, drop an ice cube in that.
Yes.
And then have your beer on the side.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a couple sips of beer, have a little sip of whiskey.
Need the round ice ball,
Oh, yeah.
right? In the nice short cup.
Right, right.
I mean,
And
you
it's
do
always-
have that at home.
It's always better cold,
Yeah. But
you know.
Oh, Bierbacker, eh?
I tell people to stick their vodka in the freezer.
Oh, yeah.
just so it's super cold.
It's not going to freeze.
Okay.
Yeah, I see a lot of people doing that.
Yeah, it's not going to freeze.
I like it. I think
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on today.
For sure, it's awesome. Appreciate having
Nice
you
to
out
meet
here.
you, Doug.
Yeah,
You bet.
it's been fun. You got anything else, Andy?
I don't. We covered a lot there.
Yeah.
I kind of liked how that conversation went to a lot of different areas that maybe we weren't expecting it to, but then that always kind of happened.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I
Yep.
guess at least with
My
us.
English teacher always said I was a master at winging it. So
There we go.
Just go email Doug if you have any questions. It's on the website.
Yeah, you can just click on email Doug. I see it here.
I really like that. That is cool.
Yep.
Very personal.
thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, guess we'll catch everybody later, or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying catch everybody later. See you on the next one.
All right.
right.
Peace.
See ya.